The Gantt chart is one of the most powerful tools in project management. But how do you create one? And perhaps more importantly, how do you use it? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly that. But before we begin, we need to understand what exactly is a Gantt chart. Well, simply put, it's a visual timeline of your project. Think of it as a calendar meets a to-do list. It shows you what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, and how all the pieces fit together. So looking at our example here, you can see the tasks listed on the right, the horizontal bars stretching across a timeline. Now the length of each bar shows you how long that task will take, and where it sits on the timeline shows when it will happen. Now the beauty is that you can see everything at once, which tasks overlap, what needs to happen first, and also where your project stands today. Now let's quickly talk about creating one. At this point, you have a few options. First, you can use an application like Excel, like I have in front of me here, but you can also use a dedicated project management software. Now, some softwares will allow you to create a Gantt chart from scratch. Others will pre-create it for you based on the data you input into the system. But in Excel, let me now walk you through briefly how I got to here. So the first thing that you're going to need is a project plan. Now, it doesn't have to be too advanced. What you're going to need at the bare minimum is task name, and we've got kind of phases and subtasks here. So you're going to need task name, you're going to need start date, end date, and duration. It's these columns that have been pulled in to the Gantt chart. If I just show you, if I go down here, right click and select data, you'll see I've pulled this in. So yeah, create your project plan first. And then all you're going to need to do is select those columns. So I'm going to select all of that. I'm going to hold Control on my keyboard. Then I'm going to select start date. And I'm going to select end date and duration. So I selected all of those columns. Then all you would need to do is click Insert, Recommended Charts, and then select Stacked Bar Chart. Now, I won't go into too much detail in this video. If you do want to learn exactly how to create a Gantt chart like this on screen, I do have a separate video. There will be a link in the description down below if you did want to watch that. But that is pretty much the process of creating one. You would then just need to go through a bit of formatting to get it to look like this. But as you update your project plan data, changing dates, durations, or even adding new tasks, the chart will automatically update. Now here's a pro tip. Use formulas to calculate end dates based on start dates and duration. This will keep everything synchronized and save you a lot of time as well. Now here is where the real value come in. Updating your chart as the project progresses. See how we have different status indicators? Complete task might be green. In progress could be yellow, and not started or on hold, we could use other colors for that. Now every week, just go through and update the columns in your project plan. Adjust end dates if tasks are running late, add comments to explain any changes. The key is keeping it current, because an outdated Gantt chart is worse than no chart at all. Now you may notice that in this Gantt chart, some of my tasks have subtasks, like under Project Charter as an example. This hierarchy helps you break down big tasks into manageable pieces, so I'd really recommend that you do that if you're not already. Now, if you want to make your own Gantt chart, you can do that too, and you can customize it further. For instance, you could add a percentage complete column to show progress within tasks. You can use different colors for different team members maybe, or perhaps even departments or statuses as previously discussed. You can include milestone markers for key deadlines. You can even add budget information to track costs alongside time. Now, the chart on screen does show some dependencies. You'll see some tasks can't start until others finish. Now, that's crucial for realistic planning. Now, one thing I will say is you will need to adapt this to suit your needs. Every project is different, so adapt the chart to fit yours. A 2-week marketing campaign doesn't need the same detail as a year-long construction project, as an example. Start simple, because you can always add complexity later. For small projects, maybe you only need main tasks, not subtasks. For large projects, you might want multiple levels of detail. Just bear that in mind. The point is making it work for you, not following some rigid template. Now, why would you use a Gantt chart? I just want to touch upon a few benefits and when you should be using them. First, they give everyone a shared understanding of the timeline. So there will be no more, I didn't know what was due. And secondly, it will help you to identify problems early. If everything's bunching up in 1 week, you know you need to look at the schedule. Thirdly, it's a great communication tool for stakeholders who want to see progress at a glance. So use Gantt charts when you have multiple tasks happening over time, especially if they depend on one another. They're perfect for product launches, event planning, construction projects, basically anything where timing matters. Now remember, the best Gantt chart is the one you'll actually use. So start simple, update it regularly, and adjust as you learn what works for you and your team. Now, as I say, if you want to watch how to create a Gantt chart, the next video on screen is for you.